Hey, so I got a DM from a man saying that he's been in therapy for like 3 years, going through a really, really rough divorce, and he likes his therapist as a person, but he hasn't noticed much difference and change in how he feels. And he's like, I've been told by many therapists, because he's had several over the years, that he's very emotionally aware, that he's very self-aware, that he can connect the dots of his inner workings. And he said, but I still don't feel any better. Is that just, am I just broken? Like, is there any hope for me? And I said, I totally relate. As a fellow recovering intellectualizer of my feelings, I still do it, right? I still default to trying to logic my feelings. And where that becomes problematic is that you don't actually feel any better, because what happens up here has an impact on down here. But if we're not also working in the body, then yeah, you're not going to feel any better. You can understand why you are the way that you are, or what's triggering you, or where that comes from in your daddy issues or mommy issues or whatever, right? But if you don't actually feel any better, what's the point? And especially for men, you like to prioritize that you are really good and logical, and that, women are emotional. And, to some extent, yes, what women are hormonal. And if you haven't noticed, emotions are based on hormones. We have this thing in the back of our brain, kind of middle back, called the amygdala. And that dumps out a bunch of hormones when you are triggered by something in your environment through your five senses. And then that then dumps a bunch of hormones in your body that increases heart rate, that tightens muscles, that gives you sensations in your body that we call feelings. So if we're not actually working through essentially the energy that's getting stuck in the body, or the energy and the responses to the hormones in the body where we feel things, then yeah, we're not actually going to feel better, right? If you're not actually working on lessening your brain and body's response to a trigger by way of nervous system regulation and perspective shifting, then you are going to keep feeling not so great. So what do you do with that? You learn skills and tools to regulate your nervous system, right? That is my gift, my jam, my specialty. Why? Because that is what worked for me in going through the divorce process and healing, so that I was less reactive in those states. Doesn't mean that I don't get triggered, doesn't mean that I don't get reactive. I just now have skills and tools to not respond and have my behavior mirror what's going on inside. I'm able to process it, not repress it. Right? In society, we're told numb it, distract it, repress it, don't talk about it. Especially for men, you are conditioned that there are 4 emotions that you're okay feeling: happy, sad, mad, and horny, right? And anything outside of that is like, rah, nope, shut it down. Nobody wants to hear it. And that's not true, because you are a human, right? You are a human being, not a human doing. So I don't know if you've noticed, but like polar bears don't walk around with a self-help book and a therapist on speed dial. Why? Because their body, their mammalian body, has the ability to complete trauma cycles that need to discharge the energy of a triggered response or a traumatic response in the body. Your body has those mechanisms as well, but we are conditioned to not actually let our body do that. Or we are afraid of the feelings that come up, that, oh, they must be bad, or we don't understand how temporary they are, so we feel like we're going to be stuck in the abyss, in the black hole forever. But that's where a tool like, for me specifically, breathwork, has been life-changing for me to discharge that energy without anybody around, without it impacting anybody else, but to let my body get it out in a safe way, so that I can then reconnect with how I really feel, what I really want, hear my own voice, get rid of the noise, get rid of the expectations, get rid of the past, get rid of the future, and just be present in the moment to decide what is the next right step for me. And that is what I work exclusively with men on inside my program, Healthy Mentality. So if you're interested in learning more about that, DM me the word heal and we can talk about that. Otherwise, you can continue to try and talk through it in therapy, and there's so much value in therapy. And for a lot of people, that's not the end game. That is not the only thing that's going to help them feel better. So hit me up if you want to learn more.